Hello BookTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is David and today we have a tag for Tag Tuesday. I haven't done a Tag Tuesday in a while, but I've got 3 original tags by people I follow that I really want to do, so I figured I'd better get to making this a priority and try to join Tag Tuesday for a couple weeks. So this one is the 1001 Books tag by the wonderful Sandy at Miss Reads a Lot. I wanted to make sure I definitely got to this one. She even tagged me in it when she did it a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to do this. I was going to do this as part of my mishmash over the weekend, um, but with my voice unshaky, um, I didn't want to do that, and so let's just dive right into it. Question 1, 1001 lists. Do you follow any book lists? It can be prize lists or challenge like Rory Gilmore Challenge. Uh, Official lists? No, I really don't. I am enjoying the Steve Donahue end of the year list that he's unveiling this year. I've been paying attention to that. I've made a list off of a couple of different booktube videos. Steve Donahue's Western Canon. I've made that list because I'm going to read through all of those. And I made the top 150 sci-fi list from Michael from Fit to Be Read. But one of the other lists or challenges, no. I don't find I have any value added into my reading by following one of those prizes. And if I did, I would probably follow something like the Hugo or the Nebula. I'm sure there's got to be some kind of a fantasy prize that's similar. I would follow one of those. But I find that my tastes are my own, and I don't need a panel of judges who are judging a book based on merits that may or may not align with mine and may or may not have anything to do with the book itself these days to tell me what is worth reading. I can determine that without that help. I'd rather turn to a single voice that I really trust, which is what I'm doing with those 2 booktube lists. 1001 books. Approximately how many physical books do you currently own? Um, Without counting, 400 maybe, somewhere in that ballpark. The vast majority of them are relatively new acquisitions. Back in April when I started my channel, I didn't even have enough to fill 2 bookshelves, these smaller bookshelves here behind me, and now I've expanded beyond that. And probably could use another shelf when I get off of my book buying ban. But the nice thing is a good chunk of them I'm okay with after I read them. If I don't absolutely love them or don't anticipate rereading it ever, I'm okay with parting with them. So over the course of this 100 book challenge that I'm doing, hopefully I'll be making some space on these shelves as well, so that I've got slots ready to fill right back in. Then how many ebooks? Maybe 100, and that's only because I jumped on really early when the Barnes& Noble Nook released and picked up one of their e-readers. And there was a point in time where they had a whole bunch of books for dirt cheap. I think a lot of their Barnes& Noble classics for either free or $1, maybe $2, and I picked up a whole boatload of them. And going back and looking back at them has been nice because it's like, oh hey, I've got a copy of a couple of these books, so I can work on those on my e-reader as part of my 100 books challenge, which I'm currently doing with The Idiot by Dostoevsky. 1001 books read. Approximately how many books have you read in your lifetime? Do you keep track? I don't keep track. I'm terrible at keeping up on Goodreads. I always have been. I spent a while, a couple months ago, trying to backfill based off of memory. I think I'm got up to 500. I'd say I'm probably in the 5 to 700 book range, if you don't count children's books. And a lot of that is when I was younger, I read just about everything David Eddings I could get my hands on. I read just about everything Terry Goodkind I could get my hands on. I've read all of the Narnia books. I mean, there are some good-sized series. I've read all the Wheel of Time. So there are some good fantasy series that fill out really, really well. 1001 Arabian Nights. Have you read stories from the Arabian Nights? Yes. Do you have a favorite? I don't. It's been long enough. I don't remember. And do I want to reread it? Yes. I don't think I read the entire thing. I think I just read a portion of it. 1001 Flavors. Do you have a favorite food or flavor? Yes. Barbecue. Absolutely will get me every time. If I'm choosing a place where we go eat, if I'm almost always going to pick something that has barbecue because it's wonderful. I absolutely love it. 1001 pages. Have you read a book that is over 1001 pages? Yes. Is there one that you would recommend it is worth the time? Absolutely. There's several that I've read that I absolutely enjoyed. It depends on how you slice things up. First and foremost, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas is magnificent and very, very worth the time. It is easily one of my favorite books. Les Miserables by Victor Hugo is pretty excellent as well. Didn't love it as much as Count of Monte Cristo, but I certainly did enjoy that quite a bit. And then if you consider Sherlock Holmes in its entirety to be one book, then that is well over 1,000 pages, and that is absolutely worth the time as well, as I'm sure Michael K. Vaughan would tell you as well. Sorry. So, the longest book I've read, I think it would be Count of Monte Cristo. It would be one of those. Well, again, if you count it, the complete Sherlock Holmes, I think that like rates up to like 1,700 pages. It's magnificent and fantastic. 1001 buckets. Do you have a non-bookish bucket list? Not officially. I did the Mooks and Gripes list, but I don't usually consider that. But one thing on that list that I definitely want to and need to get to sooner rather than later is the one that a lot of people are intimidated by as well, and that I've danced around most of my life, and that's War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. And hopefully in 2022, I'll correct that, get that off of that. I wish I could read this list and say, yes, I've read it and enjoyed it. Because I expect to enjoy it. I don't think I've met any Russian literature classic that I didn't enjoy. I've loved Crime and Punishment, Brothers Karamazov, Anna Karenina. They're all magnificent. And I really need to read more. And just a chapter into The Idiot, it reminded me already. This is why I love Dostoevsky. 1001 numbers. Do you have a lucky number? Not really. If you were to force me to give you an answer, I'd say my favorite number probably has always been 7. And there's no rhyme or reason for that, just a number I aligned to early in life and liked. 1001 authors. Do you have a favorite author and or genre? Growing up, it was fantasy. I read so much fantasy growing up. I was always a fantasy and science fiction reader, but fantasy first and foremost, with a splash of science fiction. Then I fell into a deep love of classics for a good long time, and then I fell into a love of medieval literature. And now I'm trying to balance all of those in addition to exploring nonfiction on top of it in the areas that I enjoy. Do I have a favorite author? If I were picking one, it would definitely be Tolkien. That is an easier answer to give, an answer to than the Steve Donahue, what's your favorite book question. Easily, a lot easier. I want everything that Tolkien ever wrote. I want things from the Tolkien Society and those other ancillary publications, Amon Hem. I think Malorn is the other one. I want everything I can get my hands on by and about Tolkien and his works. I absolutely enjoy it. I just started diving back into the Inklings and King Arthur, and have really been enjoying the essays in there about Tolkien and Lewis and all of them, and their Arthurian influences and stuff like that. 1001 activities. Do you have a favorite outdoor activity? Probably hiking. I do enjoy doing that. My wife far more so than I do, but I am never disappointed in going and doing it. There are things, sure, I'd rather do, but I enjoy getting outdoors and doing that, and it's almost always a good time. 1001 book clubs, not a prompt, but a question for the comments. Should I start a 1001 book club with a book a month for a read along? Yes, Sandy, you should. I think that's been the universal answer from pretty much everyone, other than the occasional, if you want to. I think it'd be great to have a way that we could read a book each month with you, officially or unofficially. And I know that you're a scheduled, very, very structured reader, so that shouldn't be difficult to find a book each month that you're like, okay, this is the book that I'm reading this month. You can read it with me if you want. And then 10 plus 1 friends. So tag some friends. I've got a lot of people I'm probably going to tag. I don't want to miss anyone offhand, but check the description down below, and I'll have some people on there, such as Liam's Lyceum. I want to make sure that he gets tagged. RK Stumbling Bear, an Erudite Adventure. So some of my friends who are smaller channels that I want to make sure that they get some extra exposure. So if you want to do this tag, of course, you're welcome to do so. And I hope you have a great day, BookTube. And I'll see you Thursday for Poetry Thursday. I'm looking forward to your entry into Poetry Thursday. Don't disappoint me. I want to see like 100 poems being read that day.